This is just an AMZN on Wednesday, June 6, 2018. Take a look at the pre-market. Last few days we've been just looking at the 5-minute chart on the whole day, and today I thought we'd jump back into going candle by candle, see what's going on. And we talked about some levels to look for in a pullback, but this thing just keeps on going up. So it's looking like it's going to open up above 1700, which on the daily, I think we had 9 bullish candles in a row. To have another bullish retest gap is at an all-time high is crazy, is phenomenal. So there will still be people buying here, just like there were some yesterday. The day before, there were people buying, consolidating, buying in here, consolidating, breaking out. There'll be people buying in here. Let's not be a buyer right at the open. Let's wait for a consolidation, look for something to trigger bullish. A pullback would be nice to any of these lows. Any of these, the values, like we've had a previous day's high, came in as old resistance, new support, old resistance, new support. I'd look for that to happen again. The only real resistance we had yesterday was up here at 1698, and then over here at 1686, 1687. And then we broke that resistance. So this was a short-term retest. A bigger retest would be phenomenal, and we'll step into the day. So the first candle is bullish, and I think it has a shaved top. High and the close are the same. People are loading up, thinking this is the time to buy. Even more bullish volume than we had in the first 5-minute candle from yesterday. And you want people to not make that mistake and be that person, but there's still going to be those people who buy up there, and they're making a little bit of money. It's going up, and obviously, because I got to figure out how to turn this off. The little bubble here saying the high of the day, 15 minutes into the day, probably 12 or 11 minutes in, was actually 1714.50, and we didn't just crash from there, but that was the high. So those folks who got in on that candle, buying right there, they're at break even right now. Maybe losing some money, depending on if they actually got filled on the next candle, which continued up. And their stop may be way down here, but they're break even, and they're holding on to hope that it's going to continue just like it's done so many more days. And oops, what happened? There we are. We got some selling pressure. We are at all-time high, and anywhere is a good place to sell off a little bit. So this is your first signal there could be sell-off coming. You have some indecision right here. A nice small candle, and let's see. No, I don't want to zoom in yet because I want to show some values from yesterday that are relevant. Some indecision here, pulls back into this 5 exponential, some more indecision, and then a crash. These two candles were phenomenal. I mean, right here, you could have taken this bullish, been at like maybe half an hour up at the high of the day, and then, taken something off there with a stop, aggressive stop here or down here. Either one, you would have been triggered in. Took out that, took out the lows, took out this low. This indecision near an all-time high. After you have this upper wick, there's a bunch of selling, people taking profit. Our first move down comes right on through this resistance, and so that's not holding. The very next candle comes down even further, but comes right into our 1686, 1687 range of earlier in the day's resistance, and bounces nicely there. Nice long lower wick. This is, still a hard place to get in unless you have that set up to buy way down here. You'd probably have it set up to buy at 1687, basically above this. So 1687.50 by 77.50. So, $10 risk on that, on the stock. or try to do an absolute zero or something where you're watching what the option prices are, maybe have a tighter stop. But then the next candle, small indecision here. And what's going to happen? Which way is it going to go? Another indecision candle, and then, okay, this looks like it's breaking down. We're not below that low, but you can start to see here's some lower highs. Here's a higher low. This could consolidate in here. I mean, we're in between, this level, actually this level, so this being a resistance here, and this level being a support. We're chopping around in this level, which we just raced on through and pulled back into a little bit yesterday. That's the level that we're at right here. So a few more candles, lots of indecision, and nice, really great consolidation here. Pennant flag saying, okay, let's see what this is going to do. And another inside candle, and then it starts to look like it's breaking down, and that'll be the end of it. And then we get this little wick here. Still doesn't break this low. This, we really want this to move to move down with conviction, but we're still at the support. I mean, again, you could have had this same setup around 1687, 50. Let's see what we get there. Why is the low not showing up? There we go. 1687 is the low on that candle. Still could have been buying there with a much tighter stop, because it actually put in a low right here to see, okay, is it going to work again? What has been working, will it work again? Despite all this bearish momentum, and it starts to work. So if you had gotten in down here, you're probably up maybe an hour, maybe more than that. Depends on what you actually set up on the trade. And it has a couple nice candles here for a little bit of a stair step, and then continues to move higher. Throws an upper wick at pre-market resistance. Again, we're up through the resistance from yesterday. That's where we paused here. Did not sell off. Didn't even show any bearishness to sell off, and just continued pushing higher. This would be a great place to take out some profit, or to take some profit, take something off. The next target would be the open of this candle on the 5 minute at 1709.75, and that was not quite a shade of top. So, but still, there'll be people selling here again, or somewhere up in this range, selling again with that kind of a move. And so this is where you want to be scaling out. Get some indecision here. It's a 3 candle pattern, which could be a stair step here, continue higher, could be evening star reversal, add a resistance. It's kind of the one I'd lean towards. This is a nice move, nice retracement of this bearish move. And this is where it's like, okay, really going to tighten up my stop, at least to here, maybe even this tight to, below this candle, or aggressively here. And you really want this to continue. You got the bullish momentum here. The volume is slowing down, and it starts to pull back a little bit more. Throws a lower wick. That could be bouncing. This could be the S curve, but it doesn't continue. It's just sideways here. And so sideways for, stair step a little bit longer, and then breaks down. So it would have been definitely stopped out here had you been holding through that, looking for it to bounce. It is a nice S curve. It just didn't work. And we're at a resistance from pre-market. Now this level is the same level we were at yesterday as a high. So we retested earlier day's high. Now we're retesting this high. Maybe it'll bounce from here. And it kind of starts to just actually flags up a little bit, and then pulls back a little bit more. Comes down a little further. It does the same thing. It's retesting these highs. Okay, is this one going to hold the support? None of those worked earlier, but this one, is it going to hold? No. Okay, is this one going to hold? We're flagging again. Is it going to come down again? Yeah, it's going to continue down. This is a nice lower wick, and just wish it had some more conviction going bullish from there, because that would have been a nice setup. Come back into retest this triangle pattern. This being lower highs, this being relative lows. You're right back at that level that people were buying and rallying on that. We really want to see this move aggressively bullish, not just chop sideways. and that's what it did, and then comes back down. So have a little bit of chop here, kind of another consolidation, same place. This one starts to move up, retesting now, and it just doesn't continue higher. So some chop into the end of the day. The key areas to look for moves to look for trades in this were up here to actually go bearish, because we've been so bullish. People are trapped if they're buying up here, and maybe it caught some of that with these two candles, which repeat again here at a little bit lower level to go bearish from there. But this would have been a great place to go bullish. Same setup we've had, retesting into a previous high, or intraday high at least. Bought here, sold as you're getting up into pre-market, taking off some at yesterday's level. So we'll take a look at this bullish move on the option. So this would have been having a setup to buy probably around 950 or maybe 945, pretty close to that low. And on the call, 950, 945, that would have been a low down in here around 750. Maybe even you set it up buying at 8 with a stop down at 7. And that was yesterday's resistance. That was yesterday's retest, was 8. I mean, it could have been the same setup. Buy at 8, stop at 7. Or a little bit lower, yesterday. But, again, it would have worked. $100 risk would have been a little bit tight. But could have been done after, this gap up, this move, sideways, just sideways on the option. I mean, this option stopped at 750, and then again 750, and then again 756, 740, right around 750 on all those lows. Could have been buying any of those lows, 750, and that would have been slightly below this retest yesterday, right in here at this rallying point yesterday, and taking it right on up into maybe 1350. 14, right into yesterday's resistance. People who are buying in here on this option and selling here are the same people buying here and selling up here again, or maybe, taking in some profits here and then selling here as it just chopped. But you could have done the same trade, 750 by 1350, or I'm sorry, 750 by 650, 8 by 7, something like that, and hit a target around 13, 1350, 14, any of that would have worked today. So that would have been a great bullish move to have set up based on yesterday's stock price, not necessarily option, other than looking for where this was actually putting in a base in here and then rallying. If we switch over to the puts, we had these two candles consolidating at 845, 850. This was just phenomenal. Just didn't have much conviction, obviously, on the bearish side. Didn't lose too much premium, but could have been buying puts for relatively inexpensively, $2.50, $3, with a stop at 2, and that would have rallied very quickly. May not have been filled, on a target, had one at $5, $6, $7, any of those would have worked. May not have gotten filled till something over in here. Maybe not in this candle, just with how fast that moved. But you want to have all those things set in place so that you're kind of scalping on that bearish move. And then again with let's go back and figure out what time this was. So these two candles, if you were getting in, let's say you got in on this. Let's be a little more conservative. Let's say you got in way over here at 1050 as that's breaking down. So at 1050 central, that would have been around, let's just call it $3. $3 by $2. And that would have worked to a target of 5. So that would have worked for 2R on the bearish move as this moved from here down to here or here, wherever it ended up. Let's see, was it 1220? No, 1220 was this one. 1255 was this one. 1255. Okay, so that candle. But either one of these candles, could have had a rollover plan here to say, okay, if this does not break bullish, I'm going to get in bearish, ride that pullback into this level, and that would have worked. So maybe not. If you bought 3 by 2, you really even could have bought 275 by 225 and gotten 2 of these, and then your target's up at 375, 475. You get 2. That's 2R or 4R, depending on how you slice it. So lots of opportunities to play both directions on this. The overall direction, and I did look at skip through the daily. Another bullish retest gap. This one is a very nice doji candle, a very nice small candle way up here at all-time high, and would not be surprised if we had a little more pullback into the 1670s, into this value, or even lower if this gaps down. There'll be some people hopping on bearish, especially if we take out a low that we put in today, either down here at 1687 or here at 1690. I think I'll add a line about 1687 just because that was so close. 1686.94 was the high on this candle at one point. That was the new all-time high yesterday. Retested it here. So this is what's phenomenal is 1686.94, and then the retest here was the low on this candle was 1687, 6 cents above it. And what do we hold? Not that one. 1687 on the dot, exactly on this candle. People who bought here were buying again on this candle. Probably because this low got put in and actually took that out a little bit further. But maybe not having it set up to buy blindly there. Maybe some did. Maybe some more bought here. 2 opportunities to buy at the same place that this retested down to, and this had been resistance. So I'll get that added into my chart. I don't have to waste your time adding a line in. Sometimes it takes me a little longer than others. But zooming out a little bit, this is a really nice lower highs. This is really nice relative lows, slightly higher lows. It's absolutely possible that this actually goes higher, and with a gap up, if it clears the high or clears the close, if it gaps up, it's a bullish gap and go. It could actually go a lot farther. We're still in these ranges. We're really close. Let's see, does this have 1723.36 predicted price range on this chart? This one. The predicted price range says the high could be 1723.36, and the other one, if it lets me actually select the one, won't let me. That's the wrong one. Predicted range on that is 1770.90. So this could still just go higher. I wanted to pull back. It'd be a great opportunity for people to pile in. But if it continues higher, just be really, really aggressive with your stop so that you're stopped down and not hanging on to something that's going to pull back and eat up a few R's on its way doing that. Alternatively, if we ever get back down in here to the low 1600s, buy. That's a buy point. It may consolidate again like it did through here, like it did through here, like it did through here, but that is a great place to buy, and to see how these two candles, this one and this one, act as old resistance, new support, because they've not been in play really through here. We paused at some values, but not too much. So phenomenal to see how well Amazon is moving bullish. So hope some folks are making money. We still have more room on the squeeze to continue higher. It does not have to be done. And got a really nice consolidation and somewhat of a rest today with some great opportunities to move, both bullishly and bearishly. So hopefully some folks got in the direction they wanted to do and made some money. That's the video for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. And this is Just Amazon. Thanks.